I sat in the bar with my close friend Toby, celebrating a lucrative business deal for both our companies. We raised our glasses to toast the success with a beer, but our attention was diverted by a commotion in another part of the bar. "What's happening over there?" Toby inquired. "Not sure," I replied as we both turned to see. Across the bar, a young blonde woman sat in a booth surrounded by several burly men. She appeared to be quite intoxicated, laughing loudly at something one of the men said. We couldn't help but notice her outfit, a short skirt and a sleeveless top. Except for her long blonde hair and a rose tattoo on her shoulder, she resembled my wife, Donna. But it couldn't be Donna, as she was away on one of her bi-monthly business trips. These trips typically lasted 3 to 5 days, and I always felt uneasy when she was away. This time, she was in Houston for 4 days, working with the factory's management. Donna's company sells safety equipment to various plants across the country, keeping her on the road frequently. That's why I arranged to meet Toby in Oklahoma City while Donna was away. I thought it would be an ideal time for us to meet without disrupting my home life. As we observed, the blonde woman, let's call her Blondie, stood up, and the group left the bar, arm in arm. She glanced at me as they passed by, revealing her deep blue eyes. They all laughed as they exited the door. "Are you all right, Bob?" Toby inquired once they were gone. "That's me, by the way. Bob Carson, head of product development for Riker Industries in Denver, Colorado. I was responsible for negotiating a deal with Toby's company to manufacture a new line of HVAC controls for energy-efficient smart homes. Given the growing environmental concerns, this collaboration would benefit both our companies. Tonight's celebration marked the successful conclusion of our efforts." "Yeah," I replied. "It's just, that woman reminded me of my wife, Donna." "Isn't she in Houston?" Toby reminded me. "Yeah," I confirmed. However, something about the blonde woman unsettled me. I couldn't quite articulate it. Just then, a waitress approached our table. We ordered 2 more beers, but before she left, I had to ask. "What can you tell me about that blonde woman?" I inquired. "Oh, her," she responded. "I've seen her here a few times. Always surrounded by a group of men. You're not interested in meeting her, are you?" "No, just curious," I replied. We finished our drinks and called it a night. I promised Toby to stay in touch and headed to my room. Once there, I tried calling Donna, but it went straight to voicemail. I found it unusual that Donna wasn't answering her phone promptly, as she typically kept it nearby. When I tried calling the hotel she was staying at in Houston, I learned she had checked out early that morning. Donna often combined visits with multiple clients, but she always informed me of any changes to her travel plans. I sent her a text asking how she was doing, and received a tired response about getting ready for bed. When I inquired about her location, she simply replied, "At the hotel." Where else? This struck me as odd, as Donna rarely lied to me, or did she? The following day, I returned home feeling perplexed. If Donna wasn't at her hotel, where could she be? Was she even in Houston, or had she gone somewhere else? I decided to discuss this with her when I saw her next. Friday arrived, and Donna had returned home as promised. She was already in the shower when I got home, and although I tried to join her, she reacted with a scream and reluctance to be touched. Confused by her reaction, I asked what was wrong, but she requested to finish her shower alone. Feeling unwanted, I left the bathroom and expressed my desire to show her affection. However, she remained in the shower, and I retreated downstairs, feeling dejected. Donna eventually joined me downstairs, apologizing for snapping at me and explaining that her trip had been terrible. I mentioned trying to call her on Wednesday and questioned her whereabouts. She explained that there was a leak in her hotel bathroom, resulting in a wet floor. As there were no available rooms, she relocated to another hotel without informing me, which she admitted was an oversight. I expressed my concern for her and shared some good news, to which she inquired eagerly. I visited that company in Oklahoma City we've been working on a deal with, I told her. We sealed the deal, and it looks like we're in for a significant profit. With the commission I'll be getting, we can start thinking about starting a family. "You went to Oklahoma City while I was in Houston?" she asked, sounding hesitant. Yes, it was a spontaneous decision, I explained. Toby was available, so I flew there, met with him, stayed overnight, and came back. I assumed you were busy in Houston and wouldn't notice. I tried calling you but couldn't reach you. Then I called the hotel and learned you checked out early. I'm sorry, I should have told you, she admitted. I didn't want to bother you. It wouldn't have been a bother, I reassured her. Anyway, I have news too, she continued. What is it? I asked. My territory has expanded. I'm taking over for another rep who's leaving, so I'll be traveling more. It could be up to 4 or 5 days a week, she revealed. 4 or 5 days every week? I exclaimed, taken aback. I hardly see you as it is. How long will this last? I'm not sure, maybe 3 months until they find a replacement, she responded. Damn, I muttered. When does it start? On Monday. I'm heading to Miami, she informed me. When did you find out about this? I inquired. Last night at the office, she replied. Great, I sighed. We had dinner, watched TV, then made love before sleeping. I wanted to cherish our time together before she left for Miami, so we went dancing on Saturday night, followed by another passionate night. We slept in on Sunday, spending the morning in bed. She began packing around 1 p.m., and I joined her after doing some yard work. We ordered pizza for dinner and ended the day with lovemaking. She kissed me goodbye at the airport on Monday. Keep this warm for me, she said, touching my trousers. Of course, I replied with a kiss. I watched her leave, then went to work. She called every evening to check in. When she returned, we spent the weekend making love. This routine continued for about 4 weeks until something unexpected occurred. It was Monday morning, and I had just finished my coffee at the office. Donna had left for New York on Sunday, mentioning she had an early Monday meeting. She said the trip might last 5 days or more. Although I wasn't thrilled about it, she assured me everything was fine, and we would benefit if all went well. After grabbing my second cup of coffee, I returned to my office feeling a sudden urge to urinate. Rushing into the men's room, I was struck by an intense pain unlike anything I'd experienced before. It felt like my genitals were on fire. Memories of hearing about gonorrhea from fellow service members flooded back, and I realized Donna had transmitted something to me. Informing my secretary that I needed to see my doctor urgently, I left the office. Dr. Brown had been my GP since leaving the Army, and I trusted him to diagnose the issue promptly. After conducting tests, he delivered the diagnosis. I'm sorry, Bob, but you have gonorrhea, he informed me. Administering a shot of antibiotics and a pill, he inquired about my sexual history, how many partners I'd had, etc. I've been exclusively with my wife, Donna, for the past 7 years, I informed him. Married for 6 years, we'd been exclusive for a year before our wedding. His expression shifted to one of sympathy. I see, he said. She should see her doctor as soon as possible. He handed me instructions, including abstaining from sex for up to 2 weeks, not an issue as I had no intention of being intimate with Donna again. After briefing me, he sent me on my way. Paying the copay, I left for my car and called my boss to explain the situation. Having gone through a divorce himself, he understood and granted me a few days off to handle matters. Desperate to uncover what Donna was up to, I searched for a private investigator and called Hammer Investigations. Hammer Investigations, how may I assist you? A friendly voice greeted me. After introducing myself and requesting an appointment, I was informed I could meet with an investigator immediately. Providing my name, I was directed to Mr. Hammer's office. Arriving at the office, I was impressed by its professional atmosphere. Guided to Mr. Hammer's office by a receptionist, I was greeted by the investigator. James Hammer, he introduced himself, shaking my hand. Please, have a seat. Coffee? Tea? No, thank you, I declined. James listened attentively as I recounted the situation. Have you consulted an attorney? He inquired. Not yet, I replied. He mentioned their work with local attorneys and offered a recommendation should I require legal assistance. That would be helpful, thank you, I replied. Is your wife staying only in New York this week? He inquired. As far as I know, I responded. I can call her office to confirm. Please do, he suggested. Retrieving my phone, I dialed her office and was connected to her assistant, Patricia Holder. Hi, Pat, it's Bob Carson. Could you provide me with my wife's itinerary? I requested. She usually leaves it with me, but I seem to have misplaced it. I'm sorry, Mr. Carson, but Mrs. Carson no longer works here, Patricia informed me. Didn't she inform you? She never mentioned it, I said, taken aback. Do you know why she left? She mentioned pursuing a more lucrative opportunity in her field, Patricia shared. Did she mention the company she's joining? I inquired. No, she didn't, Patricia replied. I'm sorry, Mr. Carson, I can't provide further details. That's all right, Patricia. Thank you for your help, I said, ending the call and relaying the information to James. Interesting, he remarked. Then it struck me, I had installed a phone finder app on Donna's phone after she misplaced it on a previous trip. Checking the app, it indicated her phone was at the Courtyard, New York, Manhattan, contrary to her claim of staying at the Times Square Edition. Why is her phone at a different hotel? I wondered aloud to James, who took note. Recalling the night with Toby, I suggested, what if she's using a disguise? We can work around that, he assured. After explaining the situation, he concluded, your wife seems to be concealing something and taking significant measures to keep you unaware. I have contacts in New York who can assist, but it'll incur additional costs. I need to uncover the truth, I insisted. Please proceed. Sending James photos of Donna, he confirmed receipt and handed me paperwork to complete. I'll start working on this immediately, he assured me. And I'll have surveillance set up in New York. It might take a few days, but we'll get to the bottom of it. I'll contact you once I have a report ready. He handed me a business card that read Robin Hawkins, attorney at law. I glanced at the card and tucked it into my pocket. She's known for being tough, James remarked. Even sharks steer clear of her. I suggest you reach out to her right away. Let her know we've spoken. If you'd like, I'll ensure she receives a full copy of my report. Thank you, I appreciate it, I replied. With that, we concluded our meeting, exchanged handshakes, and I left the paperwork with the receptionist, along with a substantial retainer. As I exited the office, I retrieved the card James had given me and dialed the number. Unfortunately, Robin was unavailable, but I managed to secure an appointment for Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. It was perfect timing. From there, I headed home. Contemplating whether to contact Donna, I ultimately decided against it. Historically, she would reach out to me once her workday concluded, so I opted to maintain the illusion of ignorance. However, I resolved to examine her paperwork, which she kept secured in her desk drawer. Her desk lock utilized 2 keys, one of which she possessed and the other I held, mirroring the arrangement with my own desk. Once upon a time, invading her privacy would have been unthinkable. But that was before her deceit shattered my trust. Unlocking the drawer, I perused the neatly arranged folders. Donna's organizational skills were impressive, and her penchant for document retention proved beneficial. Among the files, I discovered a thick folder containing bank statements. These statements originated from a bank unfamiliar to me. Recalling Donna's separate account from our early marriage days, I assumed she had closed it upon establishing our joint account. Yet these statements dated back years prior to our wedding, with the latest indicating a balance exceeding $500,000. It baffled me. Examining the transactions, I noted significant deposits from a company called Stanton Enterprises, an entity previously unknown to me. Furthermore, there were withdrawals for lavish expenses such as designer apparel, jewelry, wigs, hotel accommodations, and airline tickets. One ticket, in particular, detailed a round-trip flight from Houston to Oklahoma City, purchased just before my meeting with Toby. Could it be? Was the woman I saw in the bar actually Donna in disguise? Further inspection revealed payments to family planning clinics, spanning several years. I delved deeper, uncovering receipts and statements from various medical facilities. The earliest document detailed treatment for gonorrhea, received just before her recent trip. Furthermore, I stumbled upon 3 invoices from various clinics for a procedure known as a dilation and curettage. I didn't need to research it, I already understood its purpose. Shockingly, since our marriage, Donna had undergone 3 abortions without informing me. She hadn't even disclosed her pregnancies. It felt like a physical blow to my stomach. But there was more. A folder brimming with tax documents caught my attention. Approximately 3 years earlier, Donna had insisted on filing separate tax returns, citing concerns about her bonuses and commissions pushing us into a higher tax bracket. We debated this extensively, and eventually, I conceded. Now, the truth behind her decision became apparent. In addition to her 1040 forms, which revealed a significantly higher income than she had led me to believe, I stumbled upon 1099 forms from Stanton Enterprises. The most recent one indicated substantial payments from this company. But for what purpose? Another folder provided a clue. It contained what appeared to be signed consent forms and a contract between Donna and Stanton Enterprises. Although the legal jargon was complex, I grasped the essence of the agreement. It seemed Donna had committed to starring in at least 5 full-length adult films annually for 5 years. The document bore both her signature and that of Harold Stanton, president and CEO of Stanton Enterprises, and was notarized over 3 years ago. I meticulously made copies of all documents using our copier and organized them into a separate folder for the attorney. The more incriminating papers were scanned into a PDF file and stored on a thumb drive. My intention was to email these to James. After returning the documents to her drawer and locking it, I felt I had ample evidence. Yet, I needed context. Had Donna been unfaithful throughout our marriage? And where was the sudden influx of money originating from? Lacking access to her emails or texts put me at a disadvantage. I promptly emailed the files to James and informed him via phone call. He expressed gratitude and promised to investigate further. Subsequently, I ascended to our master suite. Each of us had a walk-in closet, and I typically refrained from intruding into hers out of respect for her privacy. However, driven by the need for answers, I ventured into her closet. Amongst several clothing bags containing revealing attire better suited for nightclubs, I discovered a couple of wigs, one resembling the style I observed in Oklahoma City. A set of plastic drawers caught my eye. Upon inspection, I uncovered small boxes containing contact lenses. It struck me as peculiar since Donna never wore glasses or contacts. Closer examination revealed these were purely cosmetic, designed to alter eye color. A small booklet revealed temporary tattoos, one resembling the rose I noticed on the woman in Oklahoma. My mind raced with questions. How deep was Donna's deception? Who had I married? Delving deeper into the closet, I stumbled upon a box tucked away in one corner, filled with an assortment of sex toys, mostly dildos and vibrators. I had once expressed my desire to watch Donna pleasure herself with these toys, only to be met with her dismissal, deeming it perverted. At the box's bottom, I discovered a DVD in a plastic case labeled DD and The Boys Volume 1 raw footage in black marker. What on earth? Descending to the living room, I inserted the DVD into the player and switched on the television. The footage revealed a dimly lit room with a narrow padded bench, accompanied by a date stamp indicating it was recorded approximately 3 years ago. Intriguing, I thought to myself. Donna emerged in the frame, adorned in a short sundress and a long red wig, seemingly attempting to conceal her true identity. A gruff male voice resonated in the background. Right on time. Good. Now, strip, the voice commanded. Yes, sir, Donna responded meekly, nodding her head. She proceeded to unbutton her dress, allowing it to slip off her shoulders and cascade to the ground, revealing her completely nude form. I noted that she was cleanly shaved down there, a practice she had adopted about 3 years prior. A burly man clad only in a towel approached her, inspecting her as if she were merchandise. I see you're married, he remarked, lifting her left hand to reveal the rings exchanged during our wedding. Yes, sir, I am, Donna affirmed. Does your husband know about this? He inquired. He does, Donna confirmed. And is he okay with it? he pressed further. Donna nodded in affirmation. Yes, sir, he's fine with it, she assured him. He understands that he can't satisfy me with his 2-inch manhood, so he's allowed me to seek sexual fulfillment elsewhere. My heart raced as I screamed at the television. I had never uttered such words, and Donna was well aware that I measured above average, at approximately 7 inches in length. It occurred to me that this dialogue might be part of a scripted narrative she was expected to follow. All right, get on the bench, the man instructed. Donna complied, positioning herself on the padded surface. Spread your legs so we can have a better look at that pussy. Once again, Donna obeyed. As she complied, the man began fingering her, eliciting moans of pleasure from her. Enjoying yourself, are you? He inquired. Yes, sir, Donna responded. I couldn't comprehend the submissive demeanor she was displaying. It was entirely unlike her. Well, then, it's time for you to meet the rest of the crew, the man announced, gesturing around the room. Soon, several men encircled her, inspecting her body and fondling her breasts and genitalia. Donna closed her eyes, succumbing to their touch and emitting soft moans. What do you think, gentlemen? The man inquired. I'd say that's some prime pussy, a large black man remarked. And married too, the first man chuckled. Let's send her home with a nice present for her cuck, shall we? Laughter erupted as they all discarded their towels. It struck me that each of the men was exceptionally endowed, perhaps measuring 9 or 10 inches. I also noticed the lustful expression on Donna's face as she gazed at their members. I shook my head, silently urging her to stop, though realizing it was futile. Let's give her what she wants, boys, the first man declared. Donna soon found herself with a large black cock in her mouth while the first man penetrated her. The others watched, stroking themselves eagerly. After the initial man finished inside her and withdrew, another swiftly took his place. Donna swallowed the ejaculate from the large black man before turning her attention to the next in line. This cycle continued until she had serviced each of them. I observed that none of them used protection. No wonder she contracted gonorrhea, I mused, wondering what other risks she had taken. Just when I thought the video was concluding, I realized there was more to come. The first man positioned himself beneath Donna on the bench, his erect member pointing upward. Donna lowered herself onto his cock, accommodating its entire length. 2 others held her legs open while a third positioned himself between them. I was bewildered by what unfolded before my eyes. The third man ran his sizable member over her entrance before gradually inserting himself. I watched in shock as Donna accommodated 2 large cocks simultaneously. Was this even physically possible? Donna gasped as they penetrated her. Oh God, yes, fuck my pussy, she moaned. It was unlike any expression I had heard from Donna before, leaving me stunned. The 2 men continued until they ejaculated inside her, then were replaced by 2 others. This pattern persisted until each man had double penetrated her. Yet, that was not the end. Donna proceeded to engage with all of them, 3 at a time, 1 in her anus, another in her vagina, and a third in her mouth, rendering her airtight. Donna had never allowed me near her anus, dismissing it as filthy and disgusting. Yet here she was, accommodating them until they finished in her anus. As they completed, Donna lay sprawled on the bench while the men surrounded her, masturbating until they ejaculated over her body. I witnessed her gaping pussy, dripping with semen in large globs. I felt nauseous. Well, boys, what's the verdict? The first man inquired after they had all taken their turn. Shall we keep her? Yeah, let's keep the cunt, one of them agreed. The first man presented a sheet of paper and handed her a pen. Sign here, he instructed. This makes you our cum slut. You're at our disposal from now on. Understand? Yes, sir, Donna complied as she scribbled on the paper. I knew there was nothing written on it, but it seemed inconsequential. As the scene concluded, the camera focused on Donna's cum-coated face. She smiled, using her ring finger to wipe some of the semen off her face onto her rings before licking it off, smiling into the camera. I'm the cum slut now, hubby, she remarked. Bye now, bye. The screen faded to black, leaving me in utter shock. I was devastated. Tears streamed down my face as I screamed and yelled, grappling with the betrayal. How could she do this to me, to our marriage? At that moment, I realized that any love I harbored for her had vanished, replaced by a seething hatred. I wished for her disappearance from my life, permanently. I needed to escape, so I composed myself and headed to the Hitching Post, a local bar and grill I frequented. Sitting alone with a beer and a burger, I pondered what had gone wrong in our relationship. I searched my memories, trying to pinpoint what I might have done to drive Donna to such extremes. I had always treated her with kindness and affection, showering her with love and attention. Our sex life seemed satisfactory, and I had never even entertained the thought of infidelity. So why was she doing this? Finishing my meal, I checked the time, 4 p.m. An idea struck me, and I dialed Robin Hawkins' office. After the shocking revelations, I knew I couldn't delay initiating the divorce proceedings any longer. I arranged an appointment for 8 a.m. the following morning, feeling a sense of relief. Shortly after, my phone rang. It was Donna. I hesitated before answering, but ultimately decided to pick up. Yeah, I greeted her tersely. It's me, Bob, Donna, she said, taken aback by my abrupt tone. Are you all right? Not really, Donna, I replied. It's been a rough day. What's going on? It's unusual for you to call at this hour. I'm in New York, remember, she explained. Just wanted to touch base and let you know I'll be having dinner before meeting with clients tonight. Thanks for informing me, I responded. How's everything going? Pretty good, actually, she said. The deal we're working on looks promising for our finances. That's good to hear, I acknowledged. Bob, are you sure you're all right? She asked, genuine concern evident in her voice. I'm a bit worried. You don't sound like yourself. Just not feeling great at the moment, I admitted, the mere thought of her making me queasy. I'm sorry, is there anything I can do? She inquired. No, nothing you can do, I replied curtly. I might turn in early tonight. If I still feel unwell tomorrow, I'll consider seeing someone. Take care of yourself, she said softly. I want you feeling better when I get back. I miss you. Yeah, I responded, lacking any genuine emotion. I love you, she declared before ending the call. Me too, I muttered before disconnecting. I wondered if she noticed my omission of reciprocation, but at that moment, I couldn't bring myself to care. I finished my meal and returned home, where I lay on the couch, watching TV until sleep claimed me. The next morning, I rose early, prepared myself for the day, and gathered all the necessary documents for my meeting with Robin. Arriving a few minutes before 8 o'clock, I was promptly ushered into her office. Robin greeted me with a handshake, her dark wavy hair framing her face. Good morning, Mr. Carson, she greeted. How can we assist you today? I proceeded to share all the information I had uncovered, placing a substantial folder containing the evidence on her desk. Robin perused the contents, her expression shifting as she absorbed the details. Upon finishing, she set the folder down and addressed me. I understand you've already consulted with Mr. Hammer, she remarked. Yes, I affirmed. And I've provided him with some of the information as well. He mentioned having associates in New York who will monitor her activities there. Excellent, she responded. What are your objectives in this matter? Everything, I asserted. I want her completely out of my life. I aim to retain possession of my home, my retirement funds, my income, essentially all my assets. Her personal belongings, $500,000 account, and retirement are hers to keep. I refuse to provide any financial support. Considering her higher income, spousal support may not be an issue, Robin analyzed. The court might order the sale of the house, granting her half the proceeds, along with a portion of joint assets. However, I'll strive to minimize this. Luckily, in this jurisdiction, filing on grounds of adultery can sway asset division in your favor. I'll collaborate with James to compile a strategy. When is her return? Sunday afternoon, I informed her. Perfect. That gives us ample time to prepare and file the necessary paperwork, she confirmed. Handing me her business card with her personal cell number on the back, she also provided a set of instructions. Feel free to reach out if needed. Stay composed, and I'll notify you when the documents are ready for service. Thank you, I expressed gratitude. With that, we concluded our meeting, exchanging handshakes before I departed, leaving a retainer at the reception desk. The following 2 days were uneventful, marked by my usual routine of work, meals, and rest. Though granted time off by my boss, I felt restless, unable to idle at home. On Thursday afternoon, Robin contacted me, arranging a meeting with James at her office the next morning. I confirmed, securing Friday off from work. That evening, Donna called. Just wanted to update you, everything's on schedule, and I'll return home Sunday afternoon, she informed me. Good to know, I responded. What time can I expect you? I'll catch an Uber from the airport, aiming to arrive around 1 o'clock, she specified. We can celebrate once I'm back. Sound good? Yes, it does, I agreed. All right, sweetie, she said. See you then. Hope you're ready for some fun. I plan to make up for lost time. I chuckled at her remark. Indeed, I replied. Looking forward to it. With a smirk, I hung up the phone, anticipating the impending revelation. The following day, I arrived at Robin's office ahead of schedule and was promptly guided into a conference room. There, I exchanged handshakes with James and Robin, also meeting 2 imposing men clad in dark suits. Bob, meet Agent Smith and Special Agent Jones from the FBI, Robin introduced. FBI? I exclaimed. Why FBI involvement? Let's take a little break. If you like stories like this, then subscribe to my channel. Continuing the story. All in due time, Robin assured, gesturing for us to take our seats. She produced the finalized divorce papers. These were filed yesterday as per your request. Your wife is expected home tomorrow at 1 p.m., correct? Yes, that's correct, I confirmed. Excellent, she nodded, passing the documents to James. James will serve her then, also serving as a notary public to witness her signature if she complies. I believe she will once she comprehends her predicament. James stowed the papers in his briefcase before extracting a thick binder and a stack of DVDs, placing them on the table. What's all this? I inquired. My final report, James revealed, handing me a photo of a dubious-looking man with slick back hair. Who's this? I queried. He seems rather unsavory. James chuckled. Harold Stanton, he disclosed. And you're correct about him. He's quite the character, heading a chain of strip clubs and deeply entrenched in the adult film industry. A few years back, he even ran for Congress, albeit unsuccessfully, stirring controversy with his erratic social media outbursts. About 5 years ago, he established an exclusive men's club. Membership was simple, pay a $5,000 fee and possess a certain physical trait, James continued. What trait? I inquired. Endowment, James clarified. They must be exceptionally well endowed, at least 9 inches. You mean? I trailed off. Yes, they're all required to be generously endowed, James affirmed. The club has chapters across the nation, convening for group activities, sometimes recruiting local women, or as in your wife's case, she was recruited by Stanton himself. So, my wife, I began, has been involved for the past 5 years, James confirmed. Wow, I breathed. But how did she manage this alongside her work trips? According to our findings from her conversations, she would extend her work trips by 1 or 2 days, James revealed. During this time, she would attend the event, then allocate a day or 2 for recovery and cleanup. She calculated that after a couple of days, she would sufficiently recuperate to avoid raising any suspicions from you. I seethed silently, realizing the depth of her deception over all these years. She was meticulous in concealing her double life from you, James continued. She often employed disguises, using wigs, temporary tattoos, and colored contacts to alter her appearance. She counted on your respect for her privacy, ensuring you wouldn't probe into her closet, where she stashed her tools of the trade, so to speak. I nodded in recollection of the items I had stumbled upon in her possessions, both in her closet and desk drawer. But James had more to reveal. About 3 years ago, Stanton decided to monetize the monthly gatherings by producing videos for sale, James elaborated. Participants, including your wife, received a share of the profits from the royalties. She committed to making 5 videos annually under an open-ended contract. Thus far, she has starred in 15 feature-length films for Stanton, he added, gesturing towards the stack of DVDs. Stanton utilized 5 to 10-minute excerpts from these videos as promotional content on various pornographic platforms, James continued. These clips have garnered hundreds of thousands of views and downloads, making your wife's attributes widely recognized. But there's more. Approximately a month ago, Stanton employed your wife full-time, James disclosed. In addition to her performance duties, she was tasked with recruiting and training other women for similar roles. I sat in stunned silence, absorbing the magnitude of what James was revealing. And where does the FBI come into play? I interjected. Special Agent Jones chimed in. Remember the case involving a sex cult with an actress a few years back? Jones queried. Yes, vaguely, I replied. The leader received a lengthy prison sentence, if I recall correctly. Correct, he was sentenced to 120 years, Jones affirmed. We suspect a similar operation involving your wife and Stanton. While we can't divulge specifics at this juncture, we'll need to take your wife into custody. Your cooperation is vital in this matter. Absolutely, I'll assist in any way I can, I affirmed. If Donna was indeed entangled in such activities, I couldn't stand idly by. What's the next step? We deliberated on a strategy for about an hour, exchanging ideas until we reached a consensus. All right, Mr. Carson, Jones addressed me, rising from his seat. We'll reconvene on Sunday. Agreed, Agent Jones, I responded, shaking his hand. We bid our farewells as they departed. I'm deeply sorry for this ordeal, Bob, Robin expressed sympathetically. This case is truly unprecedented in my experience. I can't believe she deceived me for so long, I admitted. I feel like the complete fool. Robin retrieved a card from her briefcase and handed it to me. Bob, I believe it would be beneficial for you to speak with someone once this is resolved, she advised. This counselor, Dr. Jamie Bronson, is highly recommended. I urge you to consider reaching out to her. I examined the card, noting down Dr. Bronson's name. I'll contact her as soon as I return home, I promised. Good suggestion, she acknowledged. I shook their hands and collected the materials James had provided before heading home. Upon arrival, I promptly called Dr. Bronson and scheduled an appointment for next Wednesday. Then, I focused on the tasks discussed during the meeting at Robin's office. Sunday, 1:05 p.m., home of Bob and Donna Carson. Shortly after 1 o'clock, Donna entered the house with luggage in tow, a suitcase, her briefcase, an overnight bag in a rolling carrier, and a large clothing bag. She placed them by the couch and greeted me with a smile. However, her expression shifted as she noticed the items laid out on the kitchen table before me. Sit down, Donna, I calmly instructed. We need to have a conversation. I really should go freshen up and unpack first, she suggested. Can't this wait? No, Donna, I asserted firmly. We need to talk right now. But, I said, sit down, woman. I raised my voice, a departure from my usual demeanor. She visibly recoiled, surprised by my outburst. Slowly, she approached the kitchen table, eyeing the items I had arranged. Taking a seat, she inquired about the display. What's all this? She queried. Ignoring her question, I confronted her. Tell me, Donna, I began. Was that you in Oklahoma City when you claimed to be in Houston? The shocked expression on her face transformed, revealing a side of her I had never seen. Yes, it was, she admitted calmly. I was taken aback to see you there, and I half expected you to intervene. It's fortunate you didn't. Those men would have overwhelmed you. How did you recognize me, by the way? No disguise can alter your face, Donna, or should I say, D. I responded. I'd recognize you anywhere. Now, were you ever planning to disclose the 4 abortions you underwent? It was actually 4 abortions, she corrected. The first one occurred a couple of months before we got married. Could any of those pregnancies have been mine? I inquired. Perhaps, she admitted. There's a possibility. I'm unsure. I've had encounters with various men, including some of different racial backgrounds. I didn't want to risk having a visibly biracial child. Besides, I wasn't prepared for the responsibility of motherhood. It's my prerogative, after all. I nodded in acknowledgement. Indeed, it's your decision, I concurred. However, it's also my decision to never desire physical intimacy with you again. How long has this been going on? It's been at least 5 years, right? It started before we got engaged, she disclosed. Initially, it was sporadic, perhaps once every couple of months, but it evolved into a monthly occurrence. Eventually, it became routine during my trips. Initially, I organized everything myself, but everything changed when I met Harry Stanton. Why? I questioned, shaking my head in disbelief. That's a terrible thing to say, I interjected. Please, let's keep this civil. Donna, this behavior is unacceptable, her father addressed her sternly. We'll discuss this further at home. Donna, you've made a grave mistake, her mother added, visibly upset. I'm sorry, Bob, Ralph turned to me with a sincere expression. I don't know what got into her. I appreciate your concern, I replied, feeling a mix of emotions. We'll take care of this at home, Ralph assured me. Thank you, I nodded, acknowledging their words. With that, Donna's parents escorted her out of the house, leaving behind a heavy atmosphere. I stood there, processing everything that had just unfolded, realizing that the road ahead would be long and difficult, but necessary for moving forward. I see, I replied, my voice steady despite the turmoil within me. Well, I hope you enjoy your time in prison, Donna. You've certainly earned it. Don't act like you're any better than me, she spat back. You're just as much of a loser as I am. I sighed, feeling a mixture of pity and resentment towards her. Maybe, I conceded. But at least I'm not the one behind bars. With that, I stood up and walked away, leaving Donna alone with her thoughts. As I exited the jail, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief knowing that chapter of my life was finally over. 6 months later, I found myself in a much better place. The divorce was finalized, and I had begun to rebuild my life. I had taken Robin's advice and sought counseling, which had helped me immensely in processing everything that had happened. I had also started dating again, cautiously venturing into the world of romance once more. It wasn't easy, and there were moments when the scars of my past still haunted me, but I was determined to move forward. Looking back, I realized that despite the pain and betrayal I had endured, I had emerged stronger and more resilient. I had learned valuable lessons about trust, resilience, and the true meaning of love. As I reflected on everything that had transpired, I couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the people who had stood by me throughout it all, from Robin and James to my friends and family who had offered their unwavering support. With a renewed sense of purpose, I embraced the future, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead with courage and determination. You truly are a sick individual, I remarked, shaking my head in disbelief. She shrugged nonchalantly in response. I guess I never really thought about it that way, she replied casually. Well, I'm glad you never put that theory to the test, I said sternly. I've never laid a hand on a woman in my life, but I can't guarantee I wouldn't have snapped if you had pushed me to that point. She looked at me, visibly taken aback by my words, but I didn't pause to give her a chance to respond. I've heard the horror stories about what you and Stanton did to those poor girls, I continued, my voice filled with disgust. How do you sleep at night? Her response was defensive. What, you want me to beg for forgiveness? Cry and apologize for everything? I shook my head, unimpressed. No, I wouldn't expect that from someone like you. You've proven time and again that you lack any semblance of remorse or empathy. As I prepared to leave, I couldn't resist delivering one final blow. You've turned into a monster, she accused, her voice trembling with emotion. I turned back to face her, my expression cold and unforgiving. You think I became this way because of you? No, Donna. You were just the catalyst. I hate you for what you've done to me, but more than that, I pity you for the empty, soulless existence you lead. With that, I walked away, leaving her to grapple with the weight of her actions. In the aftermath of our confrontation, Donna decided to cooperate with federal authorities, providing crucial information that led to the downfall of Stanton and his associates. She received a reduced sentence in exchange for her cooperation, but her fate was sealed. Meanwhile, I focused on rebuilding my life, cutting ties with the past and moving forward. I sold the house, started therapy, and made efforts to improve myself physically and emotionally. It wasn't easy, but with each passing day, I regained a sense of control and purpose. As I reflected on everything I had endured, I realized that while the scars may never fully heal, I had emerged stronger and more resilient. With newfound determination, I embraced the future, knowing that I was capable of overcoming whatever challenges lay ahead. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel not to miss new videos.